Hello and welcome to another episode of me painting again. Oh yeah, we're painting again. And this time we've got the oil paints out. I've got a bit of a mixture actually. I've got some water mixable oils and I've got some traditional oils that I've made myself. If you're interested in making your own paints, there's a video on my channel. And so what I'm doing, this first part is sped up a bit, but then it goes into real time, just so you know. It's not all sped up. This is this bit's sped up 100% because I thought it would be a bit boring, this first bit. It's just me getting the shape in. I made a few measurements to get the glass size right and positioning right, because one of the biggest mistakes I make when I paint is I don't think about the use of a frame. And when you're framing your painting, it shrinks your canvas a little bit because you have a little bit of a lip on the canvas that comes across on the frame, sorry, that comes across your canvas, which shrinks your canvas a little bit. And then also another thing that I have forgotten about in the past is the positioning of your item, if it's a still life. Make sure they're positioned within the canvas in a good sort of middle-ish, or just in the middle, really, because something else that I've made errors is done things too high up the canvas, and then there's all this space below it, or the other way around, where it's too low and there's a load of space above it. So it's a good idea to give yourself a few marks just to help you out with that, because you don't want to spend like 2 hours or 3 hours or more, depending on what level of realism you're going for or how fast you paint. But this time that you're painting, you don't want to use it all and then find out your painting can't be used. And if you are trying to sell it, well, you're not going to be able to sell one where the object is right at the top of the canvas, or if the frame covers part of it. So you have to think about those two things. So I've made those errors. No, I don't make them again. I'm one of those learners that makes mistakes and then realizes, oh, I need to sort that out. So here's my palette of colours: titanium white, cadmium yellow, Alizarin Crimson, Ultramarine Blue, and burnt umber. I also add yellow ochre into my palette as well. And that's all the colours I use. I think I did throw in a bit of burnt sienna at some point. I can't quite remember. I think I did, but I didn't really need it. Oh, I remember. It was because I wanted yellow ochre, really. And I leg it and get it. When I realised my colour's not quite mixing correctly, I'm thinking, oh, I wish I had yellow ochre. Yellow ochre's my go-to yellow, really. I couldn't believe that I didn't have it on the palette. And I'm looking through my bag of tricks. No yellow ochre, so I'm off. And then luckily this bit is sped up a bit, because then I come back and I have the old yellow ochre at hand. There we go. So I'm set up in my kitchen. It's a good place to paint, actually, because I can use the kitchen top as a stage for my items, and then I've got quite a lot of natural light as well, and it just works perfectly there. Got enough space for the camera and everything, so I thought, why not? So I check my colours by holding my brush up to it, but I'm getting quite good at seeing colour, that I don't need to do it as much. Sometimes I can see the colour straight away, but that just comes from practice. I think when you go out sketching a lot and you do a few paintings, you just get used to it. And I'm not sure about other painters, but I get more I get more slack about everything. The more paintings I've done, the less I worry, I suppose. If it's not quite right, it doesn't really matter. I don't want to spend hours and hours mixing one colour. If I can get it almost right, that's good enough for me. Because I have made that error of, I was trying to mix this green once and it wouldn't mix. With the colours that I used, it was just impossible to mix it exactly the same. I couldn't get the brightness of it, and eventually I thought, oh well, doesn't matter, and I just carried on. And actually the green was fine. It wasn't exactly the same, but as the painting progressed, it looked fine. So yeah, I don't worry as much now. So that blue colour where I did a bit of a drawing, that was very, very thin. It was using water and the paint, and the paint being water mixable, it was very easy to do, very thin. Dries fast, so I don't have to worry about it. There's barely any pigment there. Yeah, the canvas board was moving a little bit. I did try tightening it the best I could, but what I forgot to do was to put a board behind it, and it stops it from doing that. Never mind. Just filling in all these areas. I find if I scrub in my background first, then I have a better chance of making it look right. Just something I do personally, because I've done paintings before where I've put in the background later and everything just changes, just doesn't work. Like everything was a bit too dark, and then it was because of the white of the canvas. You can always tone the canvas brown or something though, if that's what you want to do. I wasn't that worried. I do that sometimes. So getting some burnt no, not burnt burnt umber and ultramarine blue to make sort of a greyish dark colour. Now I use that for my background. Just scrubbing it all on. Just loading my brush. bit more paint, and scrub some more on. So I'm just looking at that shape of the glass, trying to work that out, make sure it looks right-ish. Get it as close as you can. So I'm scrubbing the paint on, so it's quite thin, but it's covering the white. The reason I scrub it on is because if another colour mixes with it, there's not as much of pigment that will mix. As simple as that, really. Just blocking it in. I'm looking at that glass, trying to work out what's wrong. Because a good way of doing glasses, which I didn't do there, is to paint a line in the middle of it, because then you've got to do a mirror image of it each side. It's a good little cheat that I've used before. You can do that with vases as well. Anything that's got a mirror image kind of thing. Scrubbing away. I switch hands every now and then. I'm just getting that background sorted. I've sort of blended it where the brown and the sort of almost flesh colour of the top meets. So it's got a bit of a, not a straight edge basically, it's just blended away with it. And this is where the board kind of turns over, so I wanted to darken that. There's no light hitting that part of it, so, well, not much light, not as much as the surface. Just throwing in the burnt umber. And I'm sitting back, having a look at the whole painting, having a look at what I'm painting, and then working out my next move. And I was looking at the light that was coming across some of the areas on the board. I thought I'll put some of those in. So there's a door that's on that side. So that's where the light's coming from. It's coming from right to left. So just to let you know that this method is just the way I paint. There's loads of methods out there. Some people prefer to paint the darks first and then go from dark to light. Some people like to paint all the middle values first and then paint in the dark and light afterwards. So it's up to you. When you're experimenting as you paint, you start to work out ways you like to do it. This is just the way, well, a way I like to paint. Some Ultramarine Blue and a little bit of Alizarin Crimson. I'm looking at the glass because I I actually put some water in it and then I put a few drops of blue food colouring in it to make it blue. Because I wanted it to be a blue drink, but I didn't have anything blue. So a few drops of food colouring in the water worked alright. It's funny, when you're looking at the objects, you're trying to pick things out that you want to put in the painting and pick things out that you don't need, because what I'm trying to do as I paint is simplify everything and make everything easier for me to paint. Because if you paint every detail, well, you end up painting something that'll look like a photo, and for me personally that's not my goal. My goal is to paint something with a simplistic approach. It's funny actually, because I did do quite a lot of paintings where I really did try to get it the same, and from doing that I've pulled away from it. I guess you start creating a style for yourself and style choices, and you'll do the same. Maybe you already have. You've already chosen your method of painting and what you like to paint and what colours you like, what brush strokes you like using. All those things make you and your paintings unique. So I lose a bit of that depth there, which I didn't want to do. As I was painting away, I was like, oh, I've lost my dark blue, so I had to put it back in. So what I do is I keep sitting back, keep having a look, sitting back, having a look. Got to do that, and keep looking at what you're painting. Don't paint your painting without looking, because it's very easy to do. You'd be surprised how many painters don't look at what they're doing. They just paint away. And life drawers as well. They start drawing and then they look up and they're like, oh, I forgot I was drawing someone. It seems weird, that does. But I've done that thing as well. I've started painting and then I thought, oh, why am I doing this when I have the subject right in front of me? I should be using that as much as possible. Okay, that might be just a mistake I've made. Just looking at the dark areas of the glass, trying to put them in. Because it's glass, it's transparent, so you need to try your best to make it look transparent. It's the old editing out trick again, looking at the squinting your eyes and just looking through that little bit of light, and you'll start to see the tones and aim for that. You can't go wrong then. Makes things easier to see. The ellipses on glasses are quite a challenge as well. Something to practice. So I've got a bit of white and a little bit of blue, and I'm just trying to get the reflected light on the glass. Trying to get the shape right. Now I did actually move things around a bit to get this set up, but there was another still life idea I had, which I might do that on another episode. If you enjoy these still life paintings, give this video a like, and then I'll know I should make some more. Or leave me a comment and say I'd like to see some more still lifes. Yeah, it's a little bit dark in that glass there. I wanted to get that in, and then I was looking for the darks in the bottom part of the glass. It's a real challenge doing the bases of glasses. They really are. I have to imagine the glass sitting down on the table. Imagine the base of it sitting there. So this is a teaspoon here. I sort of squint my eyes and look at the shape of the dark area, and that's all I paint. And just get those bits of that I missed. Just to clean it up around the teaspoon. There's something I've always wanted to try and paint, and I've not even done it yet, is painting egg on toast. A still life of egg on toast. I've always wanted to do that. I still haven't done it. I might have to do that. It's just I thought I was going to do it one day, but I ended up eating it. I was like, oh, egg on toast. Oh, I think I'll eat that. So maybe I'll have to take a photo and then do it. I'll have to think about that. So I'm quite light pressure wise with this paint now. Just put in that little bit of light. Like I say, very light pressure. Used my finger and made a mess there. It's funny, I always use my finger to smudge things and that with oils. And you may have heard me say this before, but Turner, I think his name's John Mallard Turner, I think it's that. Well anyway, Turner, we know Turner. He used to check painters' hands to see if they have paint on their fingers, because he believed in using your fingers to oil paint. A real painter would use their fingers to smudge things. Does work really well actually. Using a rag as well. So I'm looking at that cherry, thinking it'd be good to get that cherry in. So using some Ultramarine Blue and Alizarin Crimson. Make a really dark red, that does really dark. I actually did it too blue. After I'd looked at it, I thought, oh, it's a bit too purpley. But never mind. I'll just use the excuse of that's the way the light was hitting it. So I mostly use that one brush. I use a Bob Ross filbert brush, and then I use that, it's a Winsor & Newton Artist's round brush. I always start yawning when I watch myself painting. It's quite relaxing. So I'm trying to get that cherry shape. And I'm looking at the way the cherry is on the table. Just turning that brush. You see how I turn that brush to get that roundness? So you get your brush actually on the painting and then turn it. I was considering to use some cadmium red as well in my colour, but I never did. Just getting the light that's hitting it there. So this is really good practice for beginners wanting to get used to the way light hits round objects. I know that's one of the things they try and get you to do, is do the way light hits a ball or a square or a triangle. You sketch it. I've never actually done it myself. I always look at that exercise and think, I don't need to do that. But I kind of already have, in a way. So I'm using a bit of the yellow and a bit of the crimson, and building up the nectarine. So I put a nectarine next to 2 oranges because I thought just the orange would be a bit boring. So I changed the colour a bit, getting a bit of the yellow on its own and doing the areas where the nectarine is not fully reddish. It's got a more of a yellow tint. Getting those colours in. Cleaning up around it. And I was having a look at the oranges, thinking, right, how am I going to get that colour? It's mostly just the yellow. That's just the yellow and a little bit of the burnt umber. So we've got the cadmium yellow deep and burnt umber. You get a nice orange. Because the cadmium yellow deep, I had a little bit of crimson in there as well, actually. From when I mixed the colours for the nectarine. But it's very close to the orange colour. I was quite surprised. Once I added that little bit of burnt umber, that was it. It was perfect for the darker area. See, really, I'm just practicing the old painting circles again. The thing that I scoffed at, I'm doing it. It's just I tell myself that I'm doing something better. I'm not just painting a boring old circle for no reason. I'm painting some fruit. And it means something. It's funny actually, art school. I've never been to art school. I've done art classes online and stuff, but I always come back to you just have to paint stuff. You just have to paint, and paint, and that's it. That's the best art school, is to just do lots of paintings. And I get really excited about them as well. I get really hyped up. I'm gonna do this painting. Gonna make something awesome. See it as like a challenge. Gonna challenge myself, and that keeps your fire going. I was challenging myself to do something. And if you really enjoy it, then it'll keep you doing it. I'm always amazed when people message me and say that they haven't done any artwork at all for years. And I have been there, actually. I have been there, where you don't do any for a long time. I remember not doing any art for 6 months, and I was really annoyed. The only reason I stopped was because I didn't think I was very good. I just thought, oh, I can't do this, it's too difficult. And then I came back, tried again, and then I'm still trying. And it's still difficult, but it's still fun. So look for the fun in it, and if you look for the fun in what you do, then it'll make you want to do it more. So I just added that bit of light on the nectarine there. And then this orange, it's got a bit of white and a bit of the yellow. And I'm adding the light to this orange. It starts light and then gets a little bit darker as it comes round. There you go, Art School 101. This is quite a good one actually, because you have various materials to paint: metal, glass, fruit, wood, and just putting those little dots on where the orange stalk would have been, getting the shadow in. I just chucked some burnt umber in for my shadows. Use my finger just to soften the edge. Sitting back, having a look again. Didn't quite get the shot right there. I'll tell you what I mixed in a second. So I've got 2 cherry stones there. My idea for them was to balance the painting up and to have some orange colour on this side as well. So that mixture was just a bit of burnt umber in with the orange that was already made, just to make it duller. I use wet wipes while I'm painting to wipe my hands, because I get in a right mess. So I have to continually wipe my hands. And I don't wash my brushes while I'm painting either. I'll just wipe them on a bit of paper and then mix my colour again. So I got some burnt umber and blue, ultramarine blue, and I'm picking out the dark of the teaspoon. Trying to get the shape right. Got a little bit of the colour of the wood in with that glass colour there. Remember, we've got to make this look transparent. Trying to clean things up a little bit as well. bit of the wood colour. Sort of I'm trying to work out how to finish the glass. So while I'm just cleaning things up, I'm mentally thinking about the way forward. And I get some of the light there in that transparency. And there, I squint my eyes, look at the glass, look where the areas of light is, and really try and get that shape, get that look of the glass there, on top there. It's amazing what you can leave out when you're painting. It's amazing what you can get away with. I'm just getting that, see that reflected light on the spoon. I wanted to make sure I get that. So hopefully when you're looking at this, you know that that's a spoon. You think, oh yeah, I can see that's a spoon. It's just an illusion that there's a spoon there. And I put it at that angle on purpose to make it more challenging. I didn't want to do a sideways on spoon because that's a bit boring and it's not challenging. With the way that I've set it up, I had to think about the perspective of it. And the way of doing that is the same as doing anything, sitting back, having a look, staring at it, looking at the overall shape and painting it. Now I've got some light, some white with a tiny bit of yellow in it. I'm looking at the way the light's hitting that glass, and then looking at the way it's hitting on that area, and all over, and just try and pick it out. Picking out those nice lights. Gotta say, I do enjoy doing the highlights. It just makes the painting so much better, makes this glass so much better putting these light areas on. I'm looking at the light on the spoon, where it's hitting. Just very smoothly moving the paint. I don't use very much pressure when I'm putting these light bits on. I'm almost just letting the paint drag off the brush. It's very light. Just looking all over the painting, looking for these lights. That little glimmer of light there. Try to soften it with my finger. Just darkening this area a bit more. Just putting in some of the umber on the surface. Using my finger just to smooth it out a little bit. So I'm sitting back having a look at the whole painting, seeing if there's anything I can do. A bit of light on the orange. A bit of dark where the orange and the nectarine sit on the top there. And there we go, that's the finished painting. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and please let me know if you want to see more of these. Don't forget to give them a like and share them if you like them, and subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to click that bell and you'll get to know when the next episode is. Thanks so much for watching this episode, and I'll see you in another one. Cheers, bye.